WWE Backlash is live this Saturday afternoon, so as always, we are here for our prediction video. Only 5 matches on the card, not necessarily complaining. You guys know me, less is more. And the only really things match-wise that I can see getting added to the show, or I could have seen getting added to this show, I don't think they will be added at this point, were Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. I think that would have been announced on Raw if it was going to happen at Backlash. And same thing with Bronson Reed, Chad Gable, and Sami Zayn. Looks like we might be getting a triple threat in the near future for the Intercontinental Championship. Again, I think it would have been announced on Raw if it were going to be taking place at Backlash. We have 5 matches announced, half decent build for this show, nothing too crazy, but with WrestleMania and kind of the hangover from that show, the build to the draft itself, and then the build to Backlash, we have a simple card with simple build, worthy challengers for the championship. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be a fun show in France on Saturday afternoon. So let's get into our predictions. Alrighty, we will kick things off with the Women's Tag Team Championship match. The champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors of Damage Control, taking on Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Looks like this is going to be the last interaction, at least for now, between Bianca Belair and Damage Control, which is a long time coming. They have had a lot of history, but as we know, Bianca and Jade officially SmackDown property, Damage Control officially Monday Night Raw property, and the only thing that could keep them tied would be the Women's Tag Team Championships. Maybe we get a rematch regarding, or I should say, regardless of the result here. The result for Saturday, I will say, I think Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill will be your new Women's Tag Team Champions. I think it is time for a new set of champs, and Asuka and Kairi Sane have kind of beaten everybody there is to beat. They've beaten Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark. I'm sure they've ran it with a couple of the other teams that were on Monday Night Raw prior to the draft. Asuka and Kairi Sane have been dominating that division for a while. I think it's time for a couple of new head honchos on top of the lukewarm women's tag team division. We could always use some new teams, and Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, still kind of a new team, and I think it's been some time since Bianca's held a title, about a year, being one of the top women in the company. You know she's going to win some championship gold eventually, and why not strap the titles to her and Jade right now? Bianca and Jade going to be a great team, and I think it is only going to lead to a greater rivalry down the line, maybe leading in to WrestleMania 41. But Bianca going to be mixing it up with Damage Control one more time on Saturday. I do think it is time for new Women's Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, to leave France with the Women's Tag Team Championship. Next up, we have another tag team matchup, this one courtesy of Friday Night SmackDown. We have Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Should we call them KO? I don't know. Well, it remains to be seen. And then they're taking on the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, who's going to be having his first match in WWE on Saturday, and certainly a high-profile one at that. Couple of different ways this could go. Well, really just one way, but just regardless, what am I trying to say? Couple of different ways how we could get to the one result. That's what I'm trying to say. I think the winners of this matchup will be the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Obviously, this is a pretty big matchup. You know, Solo has not won a match maybe since the John Cena match. Maybe not. Maybe he won something since then, but it's been quite some time since Solo's gotten a victory. And regardless of what Tama Tonga has done outside of the WWE, this is his first time wrestling in the WWE. So those two guys, especially Solo, who, as I said, although he's kicked a lot of ass, has not won a match in quite some time. For these two guys to just flat out beat Kevin Owens and Randy Orton as is would be kind of surprising. I do expect some kind of shenanigans. Now, Jey Uso taken out by Solo Sikoa several weeks ago, and I think somebody even might have mentioned on social media, somebody can let me know down in the comments the specifics, but I think Jimmy may be injured right now. He may be on that long list of injuries at the current moment. Now, granted, that might be an incorrect report, and maybe Jey Uso is just continuing to be written off television until his time comes. Point of me saying that is I don't think Jey Uso will be making his return at Backlash to screw over Solo and Tama Tonga. I think Jimmy will be going against those guys, but down the line, you know, maybe leading into the summer, depending on which route we go with this Bloodline storyline. There is also the Jacob Fatu factor, which I'm not going to sit here and act like I know a lot about Jacob Fatu and what he has done out in the independents, but evidently he has been signed by the WWE. I think he's wrestled in Major League Wrestling, MLW. I think he's wrestled in GCW, but that's about the extent of my knowledge on him. But of course, you know the last name, Fatu. This guy is yet another member of a very long bloodline lineage, and evidently has been signed by WWE, and it's basically just evident when he is going to make his WWE return, or I should say WWE debut. It could very well be this Saturday, helping out Solo and Tonga get the victory. I don't know. Again, kind of depends on how fast WWE wants to continue to build this new bloodline under Solo Sikoa. You know, really remains to be seen. And especially if they're going to go War Games at the end of the year, that's quite some time. You know what I'm saying? Between Solo, Tonga, Jacob Fatu, if he were to show up on Saturday, that's quite some time for them to really get some feet underneath them, really get some traction on SmackDown while Jimmy's on the shelf, while Jay's still on Raw, while Roman's out. I don't know. I'm just kind of pondering it in my head as we talk about it here. Either way, whether Jacob Fatu debuts, whether some other kind of shenanigans takes place, I do think the Bloodline will win this matchup. And I will say, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, I like that we're kind of sticking with that pairing a little bit. I'm not expecting them to go, like I said in my post-Raw draft video. I believe I talked about it in there. I'm not expecting a full, RK Bro-like run from Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, but obviously there's some chemistry there, and obviously they can make an entertaining tandem. And Orton and KO fighting alongside against the Bloodline, at least for now, is definitely, some solid stuff for them to do. But I'm most intrigued by what it could lead to. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes down the line is, I think, a must-happen rivalry during the reign of Cody Rhodes as WWE Champion. And I think Randy Orton, maybe even turning on Kevin Owens a couple of months from now and turning heel, could be that first step into getting Orton ready to go for that Cody Rhodes feud. When I say ready to go, obviously they can flip the switch and Orton could be challenging Cody Rhodes next month. You never know. They don't really need to do too much to set up that feud, but really drag it out, Kevin Owens and Orton, for a little bit. Maybe they one turns on the other, Orton turns on KO, or vice versa. They have a little feud, and then maybe the winner proverbially goes off to fight Cody Rhodes down the line. I don't know, remains to be seen. But as for Saturday night, I'm going the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Tonga to defeat Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Next up, we got a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship over on SmackDown. Bayley defending against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. Of course, both of these challengers retained in the draft by Friday Night SmackDown, so it's really anybody's ball game here. But with that being said, does anybody really expect Bayley to lose the title this early in her championship run? She just won it at WrestleMania after a long build-up to her story with Damage Control, the split, her fighting Io Sky, her defeating Io Sky. Bayley, I think, is in for a half-decent long run with that championship. I'm not saying she's going to be holding it for a year or anything like that, but I don't think right now is the time to dethrone Bayley for the WWE Women's title. I don't know if Naomi is going to be in championship conversations in the near future, but Tiffany Stratton absolutely could be. And Tiffany Stratton, we might make another video talking about this maybe later this week, maybe even before Backlash drops, but I could definitely see Tiffany Stratton possibly even being in the conversation to win Queen of the Ring next month. I think there's a couple of women, Tiffany Stratton being one of them, maybe Io Sky, maybe Liv Morgan. Really depends on who they want to build up, who they want to set up for a possible championship match down the line, because I do think King and Queen of the Ring will be a huge catalyst for that. So look out for Tiffany Stratton next month in the Queen of the Ring. But as for Backlash on Saturday, definitely picking Bayley here to retain the WWE Women's title. Maybe she goes and fights Nia Jax next for the championship, or maybe she runs it with Naomi in a singles or Tiffany in a singles. Remains to be seen. The women's divisions, if I can get it out, have really gotten a solid refresher in the draft. So looking forward to seeing what is next for Bayley after Saturday when she inevitably retains the WWE Women's title. We will move into the Monday Night Raw main event of this show, the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Damian Priest defending against main event Jey Uso. I think this is going to be a solid matchup. Didn't really overdo it with the build. Jey won the Fatal 4-Way on the Raw after WrestleMania, and it's been a fun watch since. And the most important thing I think to mention in the build to this matchup is the fact that Damian Priest has really wanted to do things on his own leading into this matchup with Jey Uso, but Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Dominic Mysterio keep kind of acting on their own. They keep acting like they're trying to help Damian Priest, but really they're just infuriating Damian Priest on the road to Backlash. Now, I do see them getting involved in the finish of this match. However, which way are they going to swing? I'm not saying they're going to turn on Damian Priest and cost him the World Heavyweight Championship, but maybe there's the slightest chance that they accidentally cost Damian Priest the World Heavyweight Championship, and that really kicks off a Priest versus Balor, or Priest just splitting apart from the Judgment Day feud. That, I think, is going to happen eventually. I just don't think it's going to happen on Saturday. What I see happening on Saturday is Damian Priest retaining the World Heavyweight Championship against Jey Uso by help of the Judgment Day, and it's going to be unwanted help, and it's only going to further split Damian Priest apart from Finn Balor, from Dominic Mysterio, and from JD McDonough. Come 3 weeks from now, is it 3 weeks from now? I believe 3 weeks from now, at King and Queen of the Ring, the last Saturday of May, as they keep saying on television, Damian Priest can go defend it against whoever, but I think for Damian Priest, going into Clash at the Castle in Scotland in June, fighting Drew McIntyre, and the Judgment Day, whether it's on purpose or on accident, costing Priest the title there, and McIntyre wins the world title in Scotland, and we officially go Priest versus Balor leading into SummerSlam. Non-title, because I don't really think it needs it. That's the way I would go. In the next couple of months, Damian Priest retains here. Maybe he even fights Jey Uso again, because Jey got screwed because of the Judgment Day. Maybe they run it in a steel cage or something like that at King and Queen of the Ring. Remains to be seen, but Damian Priest retaining here, retaining against whoever at King and Queen of the Ring in a couple of weeks, and then, in my opinion, losing it to Drew McIntyre in Scotland in June is the way to go. And then Damian Priest can go babyface, split apart from the Judgment Day. We can get Priest versus Balor non-title heading into SummerSlam, which is kind of where people thought we were going to head in to WrestleMania 40. They just prolonged it a little bit longer, and it ended up working out. So as for this Saturday, Damian Priest to retain the World Heavyweight Championship against Jey Uso by unwanted help of the Judgment Day. And then, of course, in our Backlash 2024 main event, the Undisputed WWE Championship is on the line. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes defending against the phenomenal AJ Styles. Pretty simple pick here, obviously. Cody Rhodes is retaining the WWE Championship. We've said it before, we'll say it again. I really don't think Cody's losing that championship. Even before WrestleMania 41, maybe at WrestleMania 41, maybe right after WrestleMania 41. The only way I even see Cody losing it before next year's WrestleMania is really depending on his storyline and who he's facing. If he's fighting The Rock, then Cody goes in as champion. If he's fighting maybe a Randy Orton who's turned heel, then maybe Cody loses it to Orton a couple months earlier and Cody wins it back in May. Like, there's couple specifics, you know what I mean? But for the most part, does anybody see Cody Rhodes losing that title anytime soon? Absolutely not. Cody Rhodes, we waited 2 years for this guy to win the WWE Championship. I don't care if it's AJ Styles. I don't care. Anybody could have been in this spot at Backlash. Nobody stood a chance. Cody Rhodes is retaining the title on Saturday afternoon. More intriguing than that, and obviously this is going to be a fantastic match, really looking forward to it, but more intriguing than the result is what's going to be next. As for AJ Styles, LA Knight is still on SmackDown, and AJ Styles, he put the thumb to the eye of LA Knight to even get this shot at the WWE Championship. I do think there is a rubber match there, LA Knight versus AJ Styles. We can look out for that on Friday Night SmackDown, but who will be next for Cody Rhodes? Will it be a triple threat with AJ Styles and LA Knight coming up in Saudi at King and Queen of the Ring? Will it be somebody else on the Friday Night SmackDown roster? It could be Solo Sikoa stepping up, after Solo and Tonga maybe defeat Orton and Kevin Owens. Maybe Solo, kind of befitting of his new tribal chief that he clearly thinks he is, maybe he wants to go after Cody Rhodes and try to redeem the bloodline, redeem his family, and win the WWE Championship. That's a possibility for Cody Rhodes in May. And obviously that would be a pretty big situation, Cody and Solo, re-linking up the bloodline with Cody Rhodes, but maybe that's not the case. Maybe they're just going to throw another one-off opponent like AJ Styles at Cody in a couple of weeks. Maybe he's going to run it with a Shinsuke Nakamura again, maybe a Bobby Lashley, just kind of looking up the SmackDown roster right now and who landed on that brand after the draft. Remains to be seen. Like I said, at this point, I'm just looking for a fun, storyline-driven Cody Rhodes championship reign, and when we get to the end of the year and closer to WrestleMania season is I think when you can start maybe thinking about, is Cody gonna lose the championship? But all in all, guys, that is my Backlash predictions for this Saturday afternoon. I will not be watching this show live. I'll be at Fan Expo in Philadelphia meeting Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen, so I will not be watching Backlash live. I'll probably watch it, the replay on Saturday night. I don't know if I'll be able to make a review on that night, but if not, I will make it on Sunday. So we will definitely be here talking about it. And I also, as I said earlier, want to post a little bit of a preview video for the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. I'm super pumped up for these tournaments, as I think they said on Raw, the King of the Ring and maybe even the Queen of the Ring going to be kicking off next Monday night, the Raw after Backlash. I think we only have a short build. I think it's only 3 weeks. I gotta look at the calendar, but I think it's only 3 weeks from between now and King and Queen of the Ring, between Backlash and King and Queen of the Ring. So we're gonna get these tournaments off and started this Monday night, and I'm super pumped up. So stay tuned for a preview video. I want to talk about some potential winners for both tournaments. Leave your Backlash predictions down below in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe as well. If you guys want to support just a little extra, hit that join button, become a Noah Nation Wrestling channel member. You guys can go follow me across all social medias at Noah Nation Vlogs, and Noah Nation Wrestling hats are available at the merch store in the description box down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.